yourself. I hope you all had a marvelous week. My week was a little rocky, but we still standing 10 toes. So glory to God for that. How was your week?
It was pretty trying, but it was okay. Today is Friday and it's a better day, so
You know what? I feel the same way. This week my parenting was challenged.
Oh, most definitely.
My sanity was challenged. I'm just glad it's Friday. If they had a big 5-foot size glass of wine, I probably would take it to the head right now. But it's all good. We have a good show for you today. February, we finally made it to the second month of 2021. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a special shout out to my sister today. Today's her birthday. For the birthday chick. Hey, for the birthday chick. Hey. All right. So showing her some love. She's the mother hen. I got 3 sisters. She's the mother hen of us. So happy birthday to her. But February is Black History Month, of course. But also we are celebrating Heart Awareness Month. February, of course, we think Valentine's Day. So what a better month to actually become conscientious of your heart. Le corazon. So those are our topics today. Let's go ahead and dive in and see what you've been trying for yourself. All right. So let's go ahead and first dive into some. You know what? Before we do that, before we go Black History, we gotta go Super Bowl. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I told y'all I'm unbalanced today. I don't know where my mind was. But let's talk Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday. Turn up, turn up, turn up. All these parties going on. Y'all wear your mask.
Please.
Wear your mask. It's getting closer and closer to home. People that I know are starting to lock in and find out they have this COVID and hanging out. So just be careful, just be cautious. I know we get comfortable. We've gotten a little lax because things have been a little different for us. But with that being said, we still want to make sure that we remember and be mindful that COVID is real and it exists. All right? So with that being said, y'all have fun this weekend. You know what I'm saying? I hope Kansas City wins.
Go Andy Reid.
So big ups to them. KC, turn up, turn up. All right, but I want to really talk about Black history a little bit because traditionally everybody always talks Black history. They always go into slavery. They go into Martin Luther King. They go into Rosa Parks. They go into the inventors. They go into those same generic stories. But I really feel like now we're in an age in the century where we're able to talk about things from the 70s and the movement, and that be considered history. I mean, 9/11 happened in 2001.
Yes.
By my senior year in 2004, it was in the history books. It was in my history, my economics book, and in my world history book. It was already in the book. So with that being said, if y'all can hurry up and rush an event like that into our history books, there's a lot of things that have been encountered that are considered Black history, at least to me. There's been some trademarks, there's been some embarking events that have taken place, and there's also been some sad events, but unfortunately it still has broken history. So I want to talk about that. First person I want to talk about is, of course, our Vice President. She is our most recent Black history that we can talk about because she's knocked down 2 pillars. She's actually our first African American vice president, and she's our first female vice president. So kudos to her. I know a lot of people were really rooting for that. Some people became very emotional to see that be able to come in their lifetime. So it is a good thing to see because I remember learning in school how women didn't have rights. Women, they couldn't vote. And that was like a hard fight that they were really, trying to do for some time for them to have a voice. Women were belittled. They had no place. It was very cavemanish, as far as you stay at home, cook my food, and take care of my kids. Yeah, and I'm gonna go to work and make this money and do what I want while I'm gone. So fortunately, but that's how it was. So that to me, I think that's considered some down the avenues of Black history or whatever. What did you have? I know you looked up some facts.
Well, of course we have Barack Obama. That's part of history. That's recent, still current. We have Barack
his
Obama.
wife. She's staying
Michelle
in the game.
Obama.
Yeah.
She is a part of Black history. She was part of Black history.
Absolutely, I agree. Let's talk about some traumatic experiences that have been Black history. Let's talk about Trayvon Martin. Let's talk about Mike Brown. You know, yeah, like there's a lot of stories that we can talk about. The whole Black Lives Matter movement itself is Black history, because it's a different avenue that we're trying to be heard on. It's not because of the color, just the color of our skin, but now it's becoming it's a cycle of history repeating itself, because it is dealing with the color of our skin and acceptance, and they're still doing the same thing, but now I feel that it's not being hidden. You know, they weren't waiting until it's dark at night and they catching us walking on the street by ourselves. Now they're calling on coming from the calls that are being taken and saying, okay, let's just kill him. I ain't got time to deal with it. He come outside just popping. You know, pretty much that's what it is. They're not really taking any concern. There's no response. Like, they're supposed to be first responders. There's no response anymore. It's just like, shoot them down.
We say shoot now and ask
questions later. That's the street code.
Well, you know, they also been talking about having counselors come out to calls. So therapists, because it was something happened not too long ago where a cop was dealing with a lady with mental health issues, and they didn't handle her correctly. They knew she was it was supposed to be a wellness check.
But I feel that in their training in the academy, empathy is part of their training. Now ask me how I know that. But empathy is part of their training, because they have to be able to ask you what's going on and be able to put themselves in your place just for a brief moment, but not become too emotional where they attach themselves. It's a mind thing. So they're supposed to be able to see, you know, even if it's not apparent that the person is special needs, the fact that it was a lady, there should already have been a fragile approach. So, you know, that's just the way they'll try to argue that. But
get away with it.
Yeah. But I just want people to take the time. In this day, let's not worry about so much of what happened in slavery, because we got that story down pat. That's rooted underneath our feet. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But start looking into your heritage. Start looking into the history behind your family and finding out where you come from. That's your Black history. You're Black. What is your history? Who are you outside of South Dallas, Oak Cliff, West Dallas, DeSoto, Lancaster? Who are you outside of that? Some people I know that are in their 30s have never been outside of Dallas. Don't know if they have family outside of Dallas. That's a problem. You should be juiced up to want to find out who else is attached to you. You should want to find out.
And also, the older you get, the older your parents, your grandparents get.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we are losing family every day.
Yeah.
So, you know, do your history. Call an old auntie that you haven't talked to in a couple of years and just talk to her, ask a couple of questions.
That would bring me to our first subject. We got to talk about heart health. With that being said, because if you don't know your family history, you won't even know what to expect as far as your body health. Like, I've really been studying and finding out how much that other parts that'll go wrong in your body can always still relate back to your respiratory, which is your heart, and cause it to malfunction and have a cardiac arrest, which means your heart actually stops, or you know what I'm saying, or go into respiratory failure where your oxygen is not getting to the blood. You basically there's nothing happening. You're gonna go brain dead. So heart health, let's talk about it. A lot of people don't even know that it's a silent killer, or that's considered a silent killer in African American women. There's more African American women that are dying from heart failure, and a lot of it is becoming from stress. It's stroke related. So they're having a certain type of stroke that is causing blood flow to stop from the brain, oxygen from the brain for a brief moment. And so when that happens, that's where they go into a stroke. It can also cause their heart to stop. It can cause them to have a heart attack in that motion. So what women don't realize is a lot of them don't even know that they're at jeopardy of having heart problems, or that they have high blood pressure. They're disregarding these headaches that they're having. They're not taking their health serious. And sometimes as a woman, as a parent, you're more concerned about the kids. You're more concerned about their health and the household as a whole, that you do sometimes say, okay, maybe I won't go today. And then today turns into next month. But we can't do that. We have to be mindful of our health first, because if we're the pillar and we're the one that's holding the house together, and we fall, who they fall back on? So we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, ladies. We have to make sure that we're going and get checkups, that we stay within the age groups that we're supposed to get the certain exams that we're needing, that we're making sure we're eating a healthy diet, so that way we can lessen the amount of problems or complications that we can have with our heart.
A lot of times when people think of heart attacks, they thinking like drop dead,
Yeah.
Or a sharp pain in the chest and then heart attack. You can have mild heart attacks. You have mild strokes.
You can actually have a heart attack for days.
Right.
The symptoms can be very slow and progressive in their progress, And so you can actually be having the tingle in your arms one day, and the next day you be fatigued. Yes. And then finally you feel stuff in your shoulder. All of those are symptoms of having a heart attack. Feeling extremely hot in your body for no apparent reason. You're just on fire. You feel inflamed. That's another sign that you're having a heart attack. Number one thing I see women that we don't like to do is we like to eat ice but not drink water. That is so imbalanced, because what are you doing? You're hardening your iron. So now your iron levels are low. So what is your iron? That's your blood. So now you're making it harder for your heart to work, because the blood is not flowing like it needs to. So I know all of us have had a moment in life where ice was our best friend. QT, they make it easy for us. They charge 27 cents a cup, no matter what size you get.
Well, before COVID, I used to bring my Yeti and get it for free.
Yeah, if you have your own cup, you really winning. But right now they ain't letting us bring our own cups in. So still 27 cents a cup. We used to walk out with them in our arms like this and go put them in the freezer at the house. So I get it, but it's not really good for us. The more we eat ice, if you're craving ice, the more you're eating it, that's a sign to show you that there is a deficiency in your iron. Right?
Yes.
All right. So, more things to talk about as far as heart health. We talked about strokes, getting checkups. Okay?
Especially black men.
Yes, black men. Everybody, not just our women, but the men as well. Because men also too, their life expectancy is a little shorter than women, especially black men. I think black men now is currently 64 to 72 are the years that they're saying that they're expected to live, and that's just at a man that's in good health. If you start to counter into their lifestyle that they lived in their younger years and how their body is reacting to that at an older age, what type of damage that he put on his liver. That's the main thing too that people don't understand, is what you put in your body, medicines, whatever, your liver has to take that. So a lot of people end up getting sick in its or around their appendix or even in their stomach areas, is because the liver suffers from so much too, and you eventually get cirrhosis of the liver. You don't just get it from drinking. You don't just get it from fatty foods, but that's the main trigger. That's what we putting in there around it and stuff like that. So we talking heart health today, guys. It's very important. Somebody very close to me, very, very close to me, almost died recently from heart complications. Hit home very hard because my father also died of an infection in the heart. They were trying to get it and go inside, and the more deeper that they went into his heart, the more that he bled. The infection was so deep, they tried to get a vein from his leg, and he just wouldn't stop bleeding. But with that being said, my dad did not live a very conscientious life when it came to his health, even to the point where the doctors were telling him, hey, we're going to give you these medicines, but you cannot consume alcohol. Alcohol was his best friend. Every night when he came home, he had to have his nightcap. When he got off of work, that was his comfort zone. So that was just one of the contributing factors. I don't know what he did the 30 years before I came. You know what I'm saying? But when I finally came around, and when I seen he did not always make healthy choices. And even if he did, because it was life-threatening, it was never consistent and it was never with longevity. So with that being said, that does make me more conscientious of my health because I feel that I do take a little bit more of his genetics than my siblings. That's another thing that's another reason why you need to know about your genetics. You need to know about what your family line withholds so that you kind of know what to expect. There's certain things that I won't do lifestyle wise because I feel that it would put me at risk for certain things. He was also diabetic. They all kind of contribute to this one wheel. He was diabetic. He had high blood pressure. So of course his kidneys weren't as good as they were supposed to be, and then all the things that he did over time, including the food and things he lived in his life, contributed to his liver. So then his liver was failing. So with that being said, I'm telling y'all, stay up on your game as far as your health goes. We live in a day right now where the food is so processed, you ought to want to just go do everything naturally. You ought to want to just eat garden foods and vegetables and just start off fresh because they put so much in the foods, y'all. They're killing us slowly. I promise y'all.
For anybody that know high fructose corn syrup, anybody that know me,
that's my favorite thing.
That's my favorite thing to talk about. Do not drink drinks with high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. Processed foods, period. Like a lot of the pastas and like hamburger helper, that's like the number one go-to thing. Y'all, if y'all ain't noticed them noodles that got bigger and fatter, stop feeding it to y'all kids. For real, like a couple years ago, the last time I made it for my kids, I was like, man, these noodles done expanded. I mean, they was big. And I was like, yeah, we ain't doing this.
I make ghetto hamburger helper.
Yeah, we're gonna have some chili mac. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mama gonna make her own hamburger helper. We're gonna yeah, some roasted tomatoes. Yeah. Y'all remember chili mac from school? Chili mac used to be good with some cornbread.
Or crackers.
We want some cornbread. That's that Eastern stuff there. We from the South.
I am from the South. I'm from East Texas.
We don't want no crackers with no chili mac.
Not with the chili.
Let's check out. Do you got a comment?
Let's see. We got a couple.
Here. Let me see. She's on my prison girl. Stress is the number one killer. Men don't like to go to the doctor
at all.
The unknown. Men like things to be controlled by them and easy going. When you go to the doctor, you can't control what they're gonna say to you. You can't control what's wrong with your body. Even some women are like that. As long as they don't know,
they're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Let's see. Thank y'all for tuning in, everybody. Hold up. Okay. I ain't gonna stay on here too long. Hold on. Okay. Alright. So, let's talk our topic today. I think this topic is a good topic.
It's a very good topic.
Let's talk, what are you contributing verbally in an argument with your spouse or your mate? I feel this is a good conversation to have because today we're going to learn self-accountability. Self-accountability is so good to have in a relationship because, and even in life, if you start to worry about what you did, what you contributed to a situation, you can walk away feeling a lot better because you've already accepted in your mind what you did. So with that being said, we don't worry about what somebody else did or what they're going through because that's their issue. You just worry about what you contributed and what you did wrong and how you can fix it. A lot of the times, the argument will probably fall back. It'll just deaden itself because you'll be like, you know what? I probably was wrong. Excuse me. You just, you just will forget it and just don't even worry about it. So let's talk about it. Let's see what y'all are trying. So, you already know I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you.
Give me the question.
You pop off a lot, right?
Do what?
I'm asking. It was a question.
Do I pop off a lot?
It was a question. Really?
I wouldn't say that I pop off. I just say I speak my mind.
Okay, but do you do that going from 0 to 100 right after the back of the conversation?
Yeah,
as soon as it starts?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's popping off. I'm gonna tell you that right there. That's the definition of popping off. You don't ease into it. You don't let them say what they gotta say first. Like soon as it comes out, you here with it. That's popping off. Right? Am I right, y'all? That's popping off, right? So let's talk about popping off. Sometimes it's the men. 90% of the time it's the women. So let's start there. Let's talk about popping off. I feel like that is the number one killer in a conversation. Why? No, let's talk about conversation first. Let's talk about conversation. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about effective communicating. If what are you doing? What are you contributing to the conversation or to the argument? Because if you sit in silence, is it really an argument? If you sit there and let them say all that stuff they said and you ignore them and you pick up that phone and you Candy Crush it till you can't Candy Crush it no more and you don't say nothing, who they arguing with? How many of us do that? Nobody. So with that being said, let's talk about it, you know. Back to you. Like I said, a lot of women are the ones that are contributing to the popping off. And once the popping off starts, that's the number one way to kill a conversation. Because I know somebody starts yelling at me, if I can. Some people speak loud, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of them. So the tone, sometimes I already might get a little excited or whatever the case may be, but you notice the difference. If I'm talking loud but my tone is still calm and I'm not, well, you know this, you know, it's not stabbing with the words, then you can't suggest that I have an attitude. You can just suggest that I talk really loud. So with that being said,
also passionate. I consider
that's what I said,
passionate.
emotional. Yeah, and that could be a number one way for, like they say, the cancers. That's number one way that a conversation can go wrong is if you're too passionate or too emotional about it, because now you're wanting,
the wrong way.
Not even just that, you want them to see your point of view at any given cost. You want them to hear you, and you're not willing to hear them back. You have to make your point. So if what they say, you can say, if they can give you the floor and allow you to say everything you want to say. But as soon as they start talking, it reminds you of something else you want to say, you're willing to cut them off. That's how passionate you are, because you want to get your point. It's all about you making your point. That's not effective communication. So it has to be a two-way street. If I'm going to make my point, I'm going to sit back and let you make yours. Now, how many times are we going to go back and forth and make our points before we finally decide to say, let's agree to disagree? Who knows? But that's another problem, because now that going back and forth so long can cause frustration in one of the parties. So now that you're getting a little frustrated, your communication changes. Your delivery, get a little aggressive with your tone. And so now the conversation has gone on so long that where it was a successful and good conversation, it has now become combative. And now and then it turns into an argument. Okay? So say what you got to say, get it over with. Don't linger the conversation on. Don't continue to try to beat a dead horse. Say what you need to say, move on from the situation.
Now, you did say a lot of people was like, who sits there and don't say anything? It is a lot of people.
They're rare.
It's me.
Because the only reason I say that, if I'm doing it, I'm being petty. Now, is it accomplishable? Absolutely.
Because they say they don't want to start an argument. They don't want to fight. They don't want to fuss.
But there's always that one thing that gets said while you're sitting there being quiet.
Yep, you keep poking and keep
just
poking.
Gone. You just trigger. They just go and get you and it's it. It's over. That's it. No more. So let's talk about trigger points then, since we go there. Whew. I had to learn about the trigger points, especially when you're communicating with somebody such as your spouse or someone that you're dating, that you're communicating with on a regular basis, because you start to learn each other's body language, you start to learn each other's mannerisms, right? So this person know you all the way. He can know you all day and other time, but when you mad, he don't know who you are no more, right? So you try to tell him, yeah, how you gonna tell me I'm mad? Well, you know he know everything else. He know when you're hungry. He know when you want to eat, he get you some food. So why he don't know that you got an attitude? Why he don't know that you're upset? Your whole body, our body changes, our temperature changes, the look change, our jaws get tight, you name it. So yeah, a man can sense when a whole woman's mood has changed.
Oh yeah.
So we gotta stop faking the funk. Stop holding it in. Go ahead and say what it is you want to say. Don't allow him, because sometimes he can be hitting triggers that he doesn't even know is there. It's one thing when you intentionally push people's buttons to make them upset, say certain things that you know is going to flare them up. But it's different when he's just being himself and being him normal that he is, and he's boo and he's just doing what he does. But because you have an attitude and you don't tell him why you got an attitude, he don't know he messing up.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know that there's a problem, there's an issue, and then we feel like he's supposed to know, like he's Cleo, the psychic, when he's just supposed to know everything, but that's not the case. Men are not psychics. They like to solve problems, but they have to know that their problem exists. Right?
Most definitely. So slamming kitchen doors and
that entertains them.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, they laughing. Yeah. You doing all this because you ain't said nothing. Some of them may watch you do it long enough and say, why are you doing it?
Right.
But most of them gonna watch for a while. They're gonna watch. She said, yeah, that's me. They're gonna watch and see for a while, because I know they'll be done to me. I'm like, oh really? Man, we're gonna take the whole bed apart. Get up. I want to make the bed again. Right. We're gonna take the sheets off, everything. You gotta get out of here. Take your feet off here. I'm gonna mop this whole floor. You can't come in the kitchen either, because I'm gonna do that too. Like wherever you want to go in the house, you might as well just leave. Because everything in the house,
He like, what I do? Like,
he don't even know.
He don't even know.
Because we ain't said nothing.
Yeah.
So I feel that communication is always a good thing in a relationship. As far as arguments go, we deal with the issue because we're trying to prove our point. Okay? Whatever the case is, if it turns into a disagreement, regardless of what it is for, if you're watching this, then you're going to be accountable for doing these things. You're going to be accountable for starting to make a change in the relationship. You're going to be responsible for being the one that tries to make peace, not war. Okay? So one of the things I want you to do is listen. Listen. You already know what you want to say, right? You already know how you feel about the situation. So introduce the situation, or if the other person comes first, allow them to say what they want to say first. Allow them to speak their mind, because then by you hearing them, you have the floor. You can respond to what they said, plus you get to say what you want to say. So listen, there's nothing wrong with that, okay?
Holding yourself accountable.
Oh, that's the main nugget. Don't go there yet. Do you think you're a good listener?
No.
Okay. So you're more on the side of making your point?
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all are in an argument. You're yelling.
I'm talking loud.
Does what he say matters?
No, because it's made up.
How do you know? How do you say that?
The last relationship that I was in, the situation was flipped. He was the nagger. I was the one like that.
Okay, that's one man out of 3,025,465,021.
In relationships?
I mean, that's one man out of all the men in the world.
I'm not in a relationship with.
But I'm just saying, that's one man. You talking about, like, you're putting him in a category here. But
you asked me though.
Because you're just speaking on one man.
On my experience, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But you said them, so that's why I said what I said, because you're putting the situation that you had with him into a category with all men. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can't do that. You can't take your experience with one person and make it be the same thing for everybody.
No, that's not what the situation was. The question was, do you hold yourself accountable? Are you loud? Do you talk loud? Do you listen?
Yes.
So I said in my situation that our last experience, it was reversed. I wasn't the woman in the situation.
Right. Okay, but what about the last one?
What last one? That's what
the one before that.
That was 10, 11 years.
It don't matter.
I can't remember that.
See, yes, she remembers. She don't want to be caught off guard. That's what it is.
And that was a young relationship.
That's what it is.
That doesn't even count.
I love making points, so I'm going to do better. It's okay. See, I'm going to tell you.
That's just to get you to shut up.
Hold on. Let me time out right quick. So let me approach that real quick. So I learned how to get my point across, bang, bang, with a shot at the end every time. So you have to learn how to do that. So you listen. You gotta get to close it off and be like, now I said what I said, and walk off, if you know how to do that, okay? But in order for you to do that, you can't pop off in the beginning, middle, and end, and he ain't had nothing to say. Let him say everything he want to say. Let him feel like he done went off, and he done popped his collar a little bit. Then you get in there and you say what you need to say and end that thing, just like that. So it's all right to make your point.
Yeah, now I'm gonna do better. It's just an excuse for them to get them to shut up.
No.
I'm gonna do better. You right.
But you know what? Old men do that all the time. That works with their wife. Clarice gonna go in there and fry that chicken. She ain't worried about it no more because Edward done said, I'm gonna do better, baby. He been saying I'm gonna do better for 60 years. But hey, they still holding on.
Edward probably paying bills too.
Absolutely. If they been together that long, he paying a lot of bills.
Yeah. Know how to shut up. Go fry that chicken.
She gonna go fry that chicken. She ain't making tacos, y'all.
No, she ain't making tacos. We not making tacos.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all
living in Babywood and making tacos with Eckridge links, but Myrtle in there, she frying chicken and she making fried cabbage. You know what I'm talking about? Fried corn. She making country meal. You know what I'm saying?
With your cornbread.
You know, you go. Yeah, you know, that night I might want to roll while you trying to be funny, or a biscuit. I like biscuits too. We're recording. So yes, we gotta stop. We gotta be careful with how we make those points. Okay. So in an argument, give and a take that you're the one that started the relation. You started the conversation. Excuse me. You're the one that started the argument. How you counteract it. You know what I'm saying? If you are the person that has the floor first, and you are the one that is in the situation where you're given opportunity to speak first, get your passion out. Don't, like I said earlier, don't stretch it out any longer, lag it on just because you want to keep talking. You like to hear yourself talk. Say what you have to say. Be cautious on shooting slugs. This is a generation now where we are good at shooting slugs and being finesse about it. You know what I'm saying? Being real cute about it. Like, dang, that was a low blow. Yeah, so we're real good at that, especially women. So we'll point that out. All right. So with that being said, let's come on, cut all that out. Especially if we're trying to close off an argument, not start one. Then we don't want to try to attack a man's character or his pride or his ego. Not at that moment. Because that's what we're good at. In an argument, that's the first thing we do is belittle their pride, belittle their manhood, talk about things that they don't do and how they don't stand up to standards. But any other time when he's doing something for you or he's contributing something to you, he's breaking you off something, he's none of those things. So we got to stop doing stuff in their face just because of convenience of argument. You with him. Accept him for who he is. You already have.
But when do they have to, accept the woman how they are?
It's the same way. It's not just a man or woman thing. But I'm specifically speaking to the women in this case based on what we were just talking about. Because a lot of times the women don't. It's always a double standard for so many different reasons with women. Because they want a man to do certain things, but they're not willing to do them back. Everything is always me, and I. Yes. Because we're so quick to talk about, like this is what this is about. We're so quick to talk about what the man is not doing. But what are we contributing? We got a lot of women. It's a lot of women out here that got a lot of lip service. They talk disrespectful to men. So how do you expect a man to respect you when you walk around here talking out loud and you walk around talking out disrespectful? You want him to treat you like a woman, but you're not acting like one. You acting like him. So that's what I'm saying. What are you giving him? Because a man will treat you like just who you are. So when you show him that you're a lady and you show him that this is how you want to be treated, he ain't got no choice but to bow down or get around. Like straight up. Like for real. And it happens when you mandate that certain treatment from him. A man will know if he can, when they move around, then just know he already seen he couldn't hold up. I've had men tell me, oh, you probably intimidated him. I've got advice. Why did I do? You rushed him off with your personality. You probably seem like you got it together. Like what? Not me. I'm just little old me. But men see certain things when they approach you. I'm like, oh nah, she's out of my league. That really does exist in their minds. So then,
or they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to take the responsibility. They
but that's all goes in that
compromise
same thing.
Or even try to get to
what responsibility? That all goes in the same boat. That they saw something that they knew they couldn't step to. So that's why they fell back. Regardless if it was they didn't want to deal with the responsibility or they felt like it was going to, they knew there was something there that they was going to have to step up to produce. And they're not willing to do that. Same thing with women. We have some women that want these men to come and rescue them like a knight in shining armor. But then they get a man that's actually good and comes around and is willing to do certain things. And they brush him off. They brush him off because he doesn't look like the man in shining armor. So It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We have to sometimes just appreciate what's in front of us, right? Let's go ahead and check out some of the comments here. See what's going on with the world. Hey y'all, how you doing? Okay. See. All right. Cool. So we responded to all the comments. All right. So let's top this last comment. We're gonna wait on her to come back and top this last minute, and we're gonna get out of here.
I'm sorry, we got technical difficulties.
But that's okay. We had some people that gave us some of their products. Okay. We got a tie-dye shirt from Unique Tie-Dye. While we wait on her to come back, let me just do like a little commercial. Unique Tie-Dye, they popping. Like the colors are popping. I got an orange and yellow one. I had it on today so I couldn't wear it for the show. But, you know, she's doing her thing. She's even putting decal and caption on the shirts along with the tie-dye. So you can follow her on Instagram and on Facebook, Unique Tie-Dye. All right. So she's doing T-shirts. And I don't know what other apparel. She's also making jewelry. She made me some earrings with little bears on them. So she's look, little entrepreneur, y'all. She's only 11, okay? She's only 11 and she's out here doing it big. She's making moves some of y'all grown folks ain't even making. You hear me? All right. But yeah, then we also want to shout out to Buffy the Slayer. Buffy is another person that hit us up on Facebook with her business. She's doing apparel also. She's doing a T-shirt. She's doing the mask. She's doing socks. I saw. She's doing tutus. She's doing bridal shirts for the whole bridal gang. She's doing birthday shirts. You name it, she's got it. So we want to shout out to her as well for doing her thing. Then we also saw an event planner and decorator. I think her name is Joanna Robertson Cooper. Joanna Cooper. So we also want to shout out her business as well. You guys look them up on Facebook and support them because, like we said, it's Black History Month. So let's do what we do and support Black businesses. All right, so we're going to get ready to wrap up our topic, but we're going to go back to you because we did pause. Oh, yeah, she thought we were gone. She thought we was gone, America. Look, bring her in. Bring it in, friend. What's wrong?
I just don't like the disruptions.
Well, America. Yeah, we're going to go back in there. All right, so you'll admit that in a situation or in a conversation that you're the one that probably will make it heated first.
No.
You just said you be popping off.
Well, when I have to speak my mind.
But I didn't ask you that.
Okay.
Because that's for you and your opinion as far as you feeling like you had to speak your mind. What women don't want to hear, sometimes we should have shut up. Because have you ever been, I don't know if you have been in a relationship long enough or had this situation, but I've had it happen where if I sat there long enough, he said some things that kind of was like, boom. You know what? I was wrong this time. Instead of us going through an argument and having to finally realize you was wrong, if you listen, sometimes a person could tell you what you did and how they felt about it, to where you could be like, you know what? Okay, I can see how you feel that way. And because you feel that way, let me go ahead and apologize. I was wrong. Even though it might not have been your intention, that's the problem. We have to accept people's reality and how they perceive things because it's their reality. We cannot change that. That doesn't mean that it's right because there's this thing that we call comprehension skills, okay? And comprehension skills mean that you got to comprehend what's being delivered to you. People have it bad with communicating and wanting to create their own stories of how their scenario goes in their head. And that, to me, that drives me insane because I'm saying to you exactly what I want to say to you, and that's exactly what I mean. But people will take that and try to reverse it. They'll try to put their own word and spin on it, their twist, or how they're perceiving it. And so that can also cause bad issues or cause arguments because you're taking a person's words and twisting it. Now they're becoming passionate because, like, man, that ain't what I meant. I'm getting mad because you taking my words and twisting it. So we gotta break that. That is like a number one cycle that I see that people do a lot is take conversations and twist the words. And sometimes those can prevent it. Like if we would listen to a man and listen to what he's saying, then he can hit his point. You know what I'm saying? Express how he feels. Now he's willing to listen because he's got his point out. So sometimes it's just like the mannerisms of a woman or the mannerisms of a man. So if you learn, most men are the same to a certain degree. When I say mannerisms, that's what I'm talking about. And they react to certain situations very similar. Um, so if we approach them similarly, then we can kind of see the same results because we're dealing with the same species.
So what about the ones that once they get their point across, the conversation is over?
That's not fair.
Well,
I've dealt with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Once they have it, you can sit there and let them prove their point, and then once they get their point across, it's over.
Yeah.
Or there's the people that will they'll listen to you, or let me see, they'll listen to you, but then they constantly. Like, wait, did you not hear everything I just said? This is the only thing that you heard, So
that's part of the comprehension. Out of everything I said, this is the only thing you caught.
Right. And
so
it's
that's
the only relevant thing.
And so that's the only thing you want to talk about because out of all the words that came out, that's the only thing that gravitated to your thoughts. That's the only thing that caught your attention. So at this point, everything else is out the window. Now, that may not have been the only thing that I wanted to talk about, or that may not even been my main point that I was trying to get across. But because that's the only thing you stuck on, we're stuck here. And we have to stay here until you're ready to let it go. So, no, I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with someone saying, I said what I said, and now that I'm finished, I want to end the conversation. Like people do that all the time on the phone. They say what they want to say, go off on you, and click. Now you try to call them back so you can say what you want to say, they didn't answer the phone. So, I get it. Same thing in a personal conversation if y'all were face to face and a person keeps cutting you off every time that you try to talk, every time you try to say what you say. Like I said a while ago, they have a response. A lot of women do that. You know what I'm saying? They're so passionate about the conversation that, and men do it too, but every time the man opens his mouth, she wants to respond to what he's saying, but it's not her turn.
Yeah,
it's not her turn. So yes, there are such things as turns in conversation because you do not always get to have the floor. It's not always about you. You don't always get to talk. So, yeah, okay? Last nugget. Let me see how I can put this because I know she's going to try to come for me. She feel like, oh, we got to talk about the men and the women. She feel like I be coming for the women and not the men. But a lot of times, basically what I'm doing is I'm giving us the weight, baby. I'm giving us the strong arm because we can handle it, ladies. We are the creators of communication. We can communicate with people with our eyes, with a smile, with a certain gesture of body language. We have a lot of different ways that we can communicate. So we are the alphas of communication. Can we be alphas because we women?
No, some men don't believe women can be alphas.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. We're going to just be we run the world. I'm just playing. Okay. But no. So, got me off guard. Okay, so the last nugget we're going to talk about, though, guys, contributing to a conversation, contributing to an argument, is being willing to forgive and say, I'm sorry. Repentance. Okay? No, we're not always wrong. Don't give a dry sorry just to end the conversation either, fellas. Just say, all right, I'm sorry. You ain't going to say what you're sorry for. Just come on, give me a kiss. There are some instances when you've been with somebody for so long where, yeah, just come out here, baby, give me a kiss. All right, now, can you make me a sandwich? And be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some instances like that. It was a small, petty argument. You made me mad, and I'm sitting here with my lips poked out because I want you to acknowledge that I'm upset with you, and you're going to make me feel better. You know what I'm saying? My thing was always feed me. When I want to be a big baby, are you going to feed me because I'm hungry? I want some, or go to the store and give me some snacks. I want some chocolate cakes. Something like that, make me feel better. So yeah, that was my thing, and I love ginger ale. So come back when we got 7-Eleven, and everybody always had them little 2 for something special. I need the ginger ale in my life. So yeah, be willing to say you're sorry, both men and women. Even if you're not the whole source of the problem, you contributed something to make the issue go to where it is. No person can escalate into an argument by themselves. So you had to been doing some jabs and some triggers back and forth to get to that level. Because if one person stays here and the other person goes here, eventually what happens is this person has to come back down. It's called de-escalation. Okay? So if you stay here, you stay calm, you stay neutral, you chilling like, hey, she just looking crazy. She gonna say all that talking. She gonna do what she doing. I'm just gonna let her sit here. In about 5 minutes, she gonna calm down, and I'm gonna be able to give me something to eat because she just running around, but I'm hungry. You know, fellas, take that approach. Don't be sitting there pushing them buttons. Let her say what she say. A lot of times when women get her point across, she good. So let's get ready to wrap up this week. But have you tried it for yourself? Before we do want to let everybody know that the Swaggin' with a Twist adult prom is officially live. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite right now. Get on there. You can follow us on Facebook as well. The event Swaggin' with a Twist adult prom is on Facebook. It is currently live, and the tickets are on sale. The event is March 27th, 2021 in DeSoto, Texas. All right, we got the bomb photographer. We got a DJ that's going to keep us lit. We're going to determine our king and queen by a dance off by the decade. So we're going to have a 70s king and queen. If you graduated in the 80s, we're going to have a king and queen for you. If you graduated in the 90s, you got a king and queen. And then we're going to do one for the millennial, for the 2000s. Okay? How we're going to determine this, we're going to have a dance off. Okay? We're going to play music according to your genre of the year that you graduated. You got to bust your move. You got 60 seconds, bust your move, do what you do, how you get there, how you like to do that. But anyway, gotta get there. Go and do what you do. Y'all, I'm excited about this. We're gonna have a Scrabble board on the wall. We're having, different photo booths, different things set up. This is gonna be so fun. I don't know if you went to your prom. Did you go to your prom?
I did go to my prom.
I like dressing up. I'm a girly girl. Okay. So prom, yes, let's do it. Okay. Let's get up. Let's put on a formal gown. Let's do it. Okay. It is gonna be COVID restricted, so this means that you will have to wear a mask to at least enter the doors. With that being said, ladies, they have cute masks now with the little beads and tangles on it. They got some that match them gowns. So y'all make it your own. The thing about this is, like we said, it's swagging with a twist. So we don't expect, the tailcoat tuxedos, guys. If that's your thing, do it. But we want to see your swag. We want to see how you press, and if you're going to wear that blazer, and how you going to freak some J's. I want to see it. I'm serious. I want to see you press down. Let me see your drip. Let me see your drip. Just a little bit. Ladies. Let's go, ladies. Before I go, ladies, men. So with the dress code also, it is enforced. No sweatpants, no joggers. Tennis shoes are okay, but you do have to look formal. You do have to have a suit jacket on. Okay? So let's get to the ladies. Like we said, this is a formal event, so no sundresses, no flip-flops, okay? No crop top tights and hoodies and joggers.
It's a formal event.
Right? It's a prom. Not even just formal, it's a prom. Y'all would never go to your prom dressed like that. You're gonna pressure your mom, you're gonna pressure your pops, make sure you in check. You all the way there. So that's what we're doing, but we're gonna do it grown and sexy style.
I'm gonna get updo.
No, you're not gonna do it. Hey, if you come,
when I went to prom, we had updo.
So did I, but that was 20 years ago. So with that being said, if you come in here with the Megan Stallion and the Cardi B updo ponytail, I'm gonna tell security to turn you away from the door. She's not welcome here. Turn her around. Turn her around. She can't come in. Don't do it to yourself, Cecilia. Nah, but this is a grown and sexy event, guys. So we want to see. This is we've been locked in for a year. By the end, it'll be a year. So we want to be able to at least have something where people can get out, have a reason to dress up, look nice. Dinner will be served, hors d'oeuvres will be served. Like I said, we're going to have photographers here. We'll have a mad host / comedian going. Got a lot of different things going that night. But it's all catered to our adults. It's all catered to the grown and sexy. And it is sponsored by But Have You Tried It For Yourself? All right? So let's go ahead and wrap up this week's show. We look forward to seeing you guys next week as we talk about Valentine's Day, our loves and our boos. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all got some chocolates by then, some cards. So until then, guys, when things get tough this week, I just want you to remember what we told you. We're communicating and making sure that what you're contributing to a conversation is always positive. But until then, keep it up and try it for yourself.